This time on Kawaii-Fi Radio, it's our Halloween episode and witches are in the spotlight. We've got to put in a disclaimer right now that Strike Witches is not a witch anime.
Neither is Brave Witches.
Stop putting them on lists, people. We discuss Burn the Witch's connection with Bleach.
If you want to see what Bleach is sort of like, except not really at all.
And we learn who can handle spooky stuff the best.
Didn't they get real dark real fast?
Not really.
Kira Lee's like, not for me.
Okay, but your version of dark and my version of dark are very different. I think milk is dark.
Naval launch!
Tetsuo! Kaneda!
Onii-chan?
It's over 9,000! Nani?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi Radio!
Konnichiwa and welcome. You tuned in to Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast where we dive into the world of anime and manga. I'm Kyle, and joining me are my co-hosts, Kira Lee and Aaron.
Hello.
Hello, it's spooky time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, all of the team fought over this episode, and then half of the team had to work late last night at an event. So,
Yes, work late
Yeah.
last night. Curly and I definitely didn't put laxatives in their food and throw hands.
No, definitely not. This definitely wasn't sabotage at all.
No.
So
we're
it's
good people.
It's Spooktober, and no, we obviously didn't do anything to them. They did it to themselves. So it's Spooktober, and as is tradition, it's time for our Halloween episode. And we put the vote to our Patreons, and they chose overwhelmingly this year's theme, 100% votes, and it's witches in anime. Spoopy.
Which is in anime?
Yeah.
Which one? Is...
Kamina.
Oh, okay.
Kamina's in all the anime.
Okay.
That's the witch anime he's in. Yeah, no. So
Gurren
we're talking about the Gurren Lagann. It's a Gurren Lagann episode. No, we're talking about witches and how this very Western ideology has been adapted into Japanese animation. And you'll be surprised to hear how old some of these are and what they actually have spawned genre-wise as well, going all the way back to the 60s, which is pretty impressive. So yeah.
What are we spawning? Where are spawning, lads?
Oh no! I can't do this. We're just going.
It's too early.
We're talking about what we're watching.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Nani? Ohio.
Hang time! I gotta go!
I have to know. Hooray! I did the thing.
Oni-chan, nani wo miru? What we're watching. All right, we're getting stuck in because coffee is short and time is expensive.
Yeah.
But we're at home and stuff. I do not know.
Don't know where you're
Welcome
going.
to our very low energy spooky episode where we're all
Welcome to
dead.
Kawaii-Fi Radio. I have just woken up and
Who are you people? How did you get in my house?
Yeah. I'm not even wearing pants. So, in all seriousness, new anime season's here.
Yes.
There's been a lot to watch, a lot to talk about.
Yes.
But Curly, we need to talk about the one you checked out, which was Do It Yourself, which is the DIY anime, obviously
Yeah.
in the name. Is it good?
Like it's okay. It's a very comfortable show. Like the art design is very like a lot more simplified than sort of the normal animation has been.
We're not going to see like heavy wood grains in the wood they're carving or anything like that.
No, it's very simplified. But they definitely
How's the cabbage?
The cabbage?
The cabbage.
Oh, good cabbage equals good anime, because there was that anime where they drew a cabbage literally. It was like,
Arifureta?
no, not Arifureta. This goes back to like early 2000s. There's one series they had girls cutting up a cabbage for a food competition.
Yeah.
And it looked literally just like a circular ball, and they cut it open and it looked like a gobstopper because it just had circles inside it. And then when they released the DVD version, they went high quality and reanimated the cabbage. It was like the best animated thing in the entire series.
Wow.
I think it was like episode 4 of this podcast was called Good Cabbage Equals Good Anime. But yeah, so animation wise, it's simplified, but it's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's just sort of the character of the show almost. Yeah, it's quite nice. And it's basically there's a club and as you do for carpentry.
Oh.
And there's only one person in it, and so they need to get more people to join the club.
Otherwise, the club will shut down.
Yeah, that's right.
This sounds great.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been watching too much Love Live recently.
yeah. They always need one more member.
But they use a lot of technical terms, and they're the right technical terms, and it's quite good. And
Should
they
we get
do
Brendan to
macrame.
Oh,
They do
not that kind of
macrame.
DIY.
Yeah, they like do their own macrame, and they like make a bookshelf, and they do some what is it with the glass?
Oh,
What do
like
they call it?
beading?
Mosaic?
Yeah, mosaic. That's the word.
Oh.
They do mosaicing for like that. It's this club, and it's quite nice. And they make a bench out of skis. You know the ski?
Yeah.
Yeah, they make a bench out of that. And that's quite nice.
In Australia, we don't do that. We don't have skis. unless you're over east and near the Blue Mountains, because then you do have the snowfields.
Unless you're going like sand skiing.
Oh, yeah, sandboarding, sand skiing, that's a thing, actually.
Yeah.
It, like, legitimately, for anyone not from Australia, especially Western Australia, because we've got a lot of sand and a lot of sand dunes, sand skiing and sandboarding is legitimately a thing here. So yeah, you make do with what you got. Well, that's on Crunchyroll, I believe.
Yes. The main character annoys me though.
Oh no.
She's like a ditz, and so she always has band-aids on her because she keeps like messing up.
Is that so that
like,
people
quite
can
annoying.
feel like confident in doing what she's doing? 'Cause
Yeah.
if she can do it, you can do it.
I
Sort
think
of thing?
so. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Well, I'm going to talk about something completely different.
Tool time.
Yes, that's right. The hit series from the
Home Improvement.
Home Improvements from the 1990s is getting an anime.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen has Tim Allen. No. I've been watching something, and Emma was also in on this as well. She saw it on TikTok and went, "Holy cow, I need to see this anime." So I loaded it up and I went, "Okay, so what's it about?" And she's like, "It's maids having a war." I'm like, "Okay, I remember this. It was quite far down the list." My God, this is a sleeper hit. Akiba Maid War. It is basically maid cafes at war with one another. And it starts off with a shooting in the 90s, and then it skips ahead like 15 years to the 2000s. And you're just like, what the heck have I come into? So this girl, she's always wanted to be a maid. She's from regional Japan. She's never been to Tokyo, to the maid cafes before, and she's always wanted to be a maid. You know, so she's moved to Tokyo. She's got hired by this maid cafe called like Little Piggies Cafe. So they're all like, you know, pig themed. It's Oink Oinky QQ sort of thing. And so it's got all those elements you'd expect, like the really cheesy maid cafe elements. But it's an underworld mafioso world where the maid cafes fighting each other like, you can't advertise on this turf, or, you know, our parent company who we owe the money to, we want you to send some fresh blood over to that cafe as a sacrifice. So they send over the new girl, and with her is also like a girl who's like doesn't emote at all. Like she's the new starter, but she's like, I've been training to be a maid for 15 years sort of thing. You're like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, she knows all the underworld stuff, so both of them go to this cafe as a sacrifice. The new girl doesn't understand what's going on. The main girl goes downstairs. They're like, you know, there's a ramen store downstairs which you can visit, and obviously the girl who's emotionless understands it because she's been trained, and the other girl, like, they were expecting them not to come back. It's like, well, we'll just have to hire new staff again. The girl's gone to the ramen shop and orders a specific item, and it gets her a gun. You know, like, she has her meal, waits for the other girl to go, and the guy just hands her a paper bag, and you don't know what's in it. And then they're in there, and one girl is being admonished by this other girl who's in charge of this bunny-style maid cafe. And it just, like, they've been sent there basically to be sacrificed. And obviously the new girl doesn't have a clue what's going on. Is like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. And then the emotionless girl just headshots the lead maid, and you're like, what? And then all the other maids are like just stunned in silence. She's like, we're leaving. And they walk out. And the other maids are like, and then it's a musical theme playing as she's shooting her way out of Akihabara, surrounded by maids, and doing dances that you'd see in like a maid cafe or in an idol competition, but with the guns instead of glow sticks.
Oh, wow.
It's incredibly well animated. It has no right being this top tier.
Okay, so compare that to the Kingsman Church scene.
It's like that.
Oh, man.
Like, the music obviously isn't as epic as having Freebird playing, but I now want to go and AMV that and put Freebird over it.
Just like do a swapsies on them.
Yeah. Like, it's that sort of thing. It's like weird camera angles, her spinning around in the air and the camera following her as she does headshot after headshot. Or like a line of girls in a row going bang, 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 and their heads going back from the bullet. It's just like, I realize we're a PG podcast, but violence is A-okay, apparently.
Hey, look, you make the rules, man.
Well, do you want to know the funny thing? This is only rated M. Yeah. No fan service or any of that sort of stuff, but the owner of the cafe is weird.
Aren't they always?
Yeah. Think like Miss Kobayashi from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but not endearing at all. And like sort of creepy. The way their mindset is just warped.
Do you reckon it's because they used to be a maid as well, and then they've sort of gone through all of that, so they understand all
I
of it?
suspect they may have been one of the maids in the scene at the start from 15 years earlier where their manager was killed.
Ah.
Yeah. But look, it's great, and for the opening sequence is all the words you'd like. It's the song that's clearly been made for it, as is the outro is like James Bond, early James Bond-esque, like, you know, bullets dropping in glasses of cocktails in slow mo, and the lyrics are just all made phrases that you know, welcome Master QQ and stuff like that, and until you actually see like someone translate the lyrics, you're like, I have no idea what this is, but it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Because Emma was sitting there with us going, this is not a real song. This has been made for this. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. These are all things they'd be saying as like maid cafe girls.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for like the outro. The outro's done like like Seven Samurai, like old school, like ballad. And it's again, all things that they'd be saying. And it's like, you know, I will die for my cafe. You're like, what? It's amazing. Go watch it. I couldn't believe how good it was. It has no right being this good. It's called Akiba Maid War, and
are the costumes good?
Yeah, they're really good as well. So look, it's worth checking out. It's on Crunchyroll, so yeah.
Curly and I just shared a look. We know what's happening.
Yeah.
You cosplaying?
I might.
Yeah.
This sounds pretty good. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, hello.
Aaron.
Jojo. Golden Wind. No. Stone Ocean.
Stone Ocean.
Oh, man. So this is... I've seen...
I think this is the final part, isn't it?
No, there's one more part.
I've heard
coming?
mixed reviews on this.
How so?
Well, people either like it or they don't like it.
As JoJo as a whole or Stone Ocean?
Stone Ocean.
Stone Ocean has gone quite different from the typical JoJo sort of thing. Because it's all in a prison in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, so they don't ever leave the prison, at least not until this point that you've seen.
They're just about to leave the prison now.
Okay. So this is the prison break area.
Yeah. It's funny because I've seen manga bits for the parts that are coming up. Mickey Mouse is making a debut.
As in the person whose name is Mickey Mouse?
No.
The actual Disney character?
Yes.
Okay.
Because one of the scenes is they're in a car trying to escape, and this dude pulls open a comic and he's like, it ain't Disney if there's no Mickey Mouse in it. Because this other dude has this ability. I don't know if it's whether he makes cartoon characters real or if he makes specifically Disney characters real.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Something.
That's a thing.
Well, that's the thing with JoJo's. You don't the way they use their stands, their abilities. It's all so unique and weird and like very particular to the one situation.
Yeah, no kidding. So this is part 2 that's out at the moment.
Yes, part 2 is out at the moment.
From what I can see, part 3's scheduled for December, at least in Japan.
Okay.
So whether that ends up translating, because it was only September that the
that we got it. Yeah.
So It'll be interesting.
Well, things are heating up because... Do you know much about the overarching story for JoJo's?
Yeah, it's to do with Dio and him.
No.
No.
Dio is a very minor bad guy, but
Well,
he does keep recurring.
Well, I was going to say, isn't this like the last arc of Dio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because
No,
then we go into Steel Ball Run, which is an alternate universe where they've got to race across America in like the early 1900s, I think, or the 1800s.
The Pyro Run, and Cannonball Run. Cool.
Yep. And Jesus plays a big part in it, and the president's name is Funny Valentine.
Okay.
And Dio's in that, but his name's Diego.
Okay. So is that a flashback?
No.
Okay.
It's an alternate universe. Yeah.
So confused already.
Oh, dude, JoJo's...
I mean, it doesn't take much for JoJo, though. Like...
No, JoJo's is very... Anyway, so, yes, Dio's in this part because there's a priest who is gay for him in the prison who is trying to get him reincarnated.
Oh, no. No.
And so in the anime, in part 2, they've just gotten him reincarnated.
Okay.
And so the priest is using him to get access to heaven, or at least what they're calling heaven in JoJo's.
Okay.
And heaven gives their stands a more powerful ability.
Joy. Okay. Well, I can confirm that part 3 is indeed landing on Netflix International December 1st.
All at once?
It doesn't say. It just says December 1st airing.
Sweet.
So hopefully it'll all be at once. 14 episodes for the final arc.
I mean, it's all been all at once so far. So
Yeah? Oh, well, then I imagine they do the same.
Yeah.
I mean, look, for as much grief as we're giving Netflix, they need it. Because they're starting to get their act together and figure out that they have to do this.
Oh yeah,
right.
because Netflix is definitely listening to us.
No.
Hi, Netflix.
No, I don't mean us specifically, but in general, like the anime community has been giving them a lot of grief for how they've handled stuff, and
Yeah.
they've set up a dedicated department in Japan, and since then we're starting to see positive changes.
Okay.
So I mean, look at how good the dub for Cyberpunk was.
Oh yeah, dude, Cyberpunk was amazing.
Have they still got the anime separate in Japan?
I think it's still a separate department.
I thought it might have closed down.
I don't know. I don't think it's as big as they had planned because of COVID.
Yeah, because I knew someone who was working in that department over in Japan.
Oh.
And they just lost their job.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They like really shrunk it down.
That sucks. Bugger. We'll have to ask him. I'm going to do some snooping.
Snoopy.
Okay, now, one thing I do want to mention. So, Tifa has been watching Bleach and literally crying. You should go check out her video on it for her watching the first video to see it come back.
Oh yeah, I did see. I saw her TikTok about it.
Yeah.
And how Ichigo got drip.
Yeah, yeah. So she's very excited about that. And I think Kenny was watching.
I know he's reading more, which Hat Atelier.
Yeah, that's something we're going to talk about this episode as well. I started reading it last night, and I've got some notes from him to talk about it as well. Because Witches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
That
that's
checks
getting
out.
an anime next year too.
Oh sweet.
And just based on having read like the first 4 chapters, it looks good. It
well,
looks good.
he loaned me the first book to read,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I punched through it in a night, and it was
And
really
I
good.
have played a game.
Really?
The Atelier game.
Oh, the Atelier games are completely different. I love them. Yeah, same.
It's not related to this, I'm assuming.
No.
No.
It's
Kind of.
about essentially running a little shop.
Okay, I had wondered. So, which Hat Atelier? And he's like, we're going to go to my atelier, and I'm like, what the heck is an atelier? And it's a shop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a sort of specialty goods store sort of thing.
Yeah, but depending on what game you get, they're all completely different.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And the last thing, I can't remember. Have you guys seen Chainsaw Man?
No, I downloaded it to watch it, but then I ended up watching. What was I watching instead?
Was this on the plane?
Irumakun.
Oh, Rumakun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's season 3.
Yeah.
It's getting good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how we were like, oh, is Ameri-san in it? She is.
Excellent. But Chainsaw Man, after all the hype,
Yeah, I've heard
Oh, really?
some people aren't that pleased with it.
Look, it's not bad, but it's not like the top tier hype people were
Right.
giving it. It is so far the main character's proved himself to be a pervert.
Yes,
and
I have seen that.
it's very much heading towards harem territory already. Well, pseudo harem. It's unclear.
Isn't it just Makima and Power?
Yeah, so far. But there's 2 other girls who apparently show up later as well, who kind of become interested in him. And I think there's a bit of an issue with the animation, because considering how much lead up time this has had, there's an awful lot of CG.
And isn't it Mapple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they established an entire studio for this. There's a lot of CG in there that really doesn't blend well.
So not good CG.
It's certainly ain't no Arifureta, but for
It's
Mappa,
no Gibbiate.
yeah, well, nothing's Gibbiate, but it should be better considering the amount of time they've had. And to be honest, they should have not used it. It would have been better and more natural for the flow to have it. If they were going to use it, it should have only been used for his transformation.
Yeah.
Like to make it seem different and demonic. But they've used it in all sorts of weird spots where you don't think it should be. So I'm still enjoying it, but considering the amount of hype it's had, like you would think it would be on like it should be on a 9 out of 10. I'd say it's like a 7.
So what if it didn't have the hype, right? If it didn't have that big hype behind it, would you have a different opinion though?
I would, but I'd still be disappointed by the blatant, push towards the, being a pervert. Like we've seen it's just such a trope, and it's not helpful. Like you can have a character be interested in a female character. I have a male character interested in a female character without them being a complete lech. It's not needed, and especially in the world we're living in, we don't need that. And Japan certainly doesn't need that. Men do not know how to communicate with women, or just don't want to meet them because of their view on the world from what they've been watching and experiencing.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot they could be doing to improve how this is put across. Like, it's still very, I don't know. It's almost like, is it Greece where it's actually very sexist?
Yeah.
And it's like they haven't moved past that point for some of the mangaka. Other mangaka have done incredible things. There's a new series of anime shorts out. It was actually just in the news, and it's had like 4 more added to it. I Love Me, educational anime exploring gender.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's got 3 new episodes. It airs on NHK. They're going to air out through October and November. It's an adventure anime that explores gender and diversity, and self-identification. So the episodes are titled Why Do People Wet the Bed? The Fastest is Number 1 or Not? And What Kind of Families Does Everyone Have? But yeah, it's related to the Beyond Gender project, which aims to foster a society where people can live as they are without being bounded by society and cultural gender differences such as masculinity and femininity. So it's, for Japan, that's massively progressive. And you see this and you go, fantastic. They're finally starting to go, hey, we need to treat women with respect and give them, the credit that they deserve, instead of just going, well, you're going to get married and be a housewife and that's your life. And it's like,
You have to have kids. That's
yeah.
your sole purpose.
So like the fact that we're starting to see a push towards this, I think is good for Japan's future, but we're still, as always, we're being held back by the older style of storytelling. And especially considering these type of series are read by young adults. It's, a formative time frame for them.
Yeah, well, Shumi Shop has some manga that I saw that were really good, and there was stuff like neurodivergent, like understanding yourself and others, and it was a manga about it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, it's so cool to see that they've got stuff like this available, and especially in this format that's so appealing to people who do fall under that umbrella.
Yeah.
Is it like a fantasy or anything, or is it?
No, I think it's real life
just,
stories.
Real life stories.
Yeah.
So like just set in like Tokyo or something like
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
I mean, I didn't pick it up or like read it, but like I saw the spine for it, and I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right, we've gone well and truly off topic in this what we're watching section today.
So spooky.
So yeah, this is all spooky. We're talking about being nice.
I don't know. I had a reincarnated vampire in mind.
Yeah.
That's pretty spooky.
That's pretty spooky.
And he's a baby now. That's even spookier.
Yeah, that is spookier. Rumikun.
What? No. What? No.
Arumikun's great. Arumikun's great. But we do need to talk about Halloween and witches. And
Which is our main topic.
And also, I've been watching reading One Piece, and I'm 600 odd chapters in, so that's why this is the next thing we're using.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. With the kids jingle.
Yes, it is time for some spookiness.
Gomu Gomu no Jet Hawk.
Gomu
you're not up
Gomu
to
no
that
Ghost.
Yet. You've seen
I've met
what's her face? Pink hair, Lolita clothes, big eyes.
Oh,
Sad chick that you cosplayed.
no.
No?
Thought
I
about
thought
it.
You did.
Thought
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
Was she
The one that fought Usopp.
Was she on Thriller Bark?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
with the ghosts.
Yeah.
Can we
She's
just
cool.
talk about Thriller Bark for this
Yeah,
entire
okay,
episode?
look, okay,
It's a
so-
Thriller Bark episode now.
Okay, so let's come back to One Piece in just a second, because we do need to talk about which anime first, and then we'll come back to Thriller Bark and One Piece take on that idea. So firstly, the first which anime, now I'm not 100% sure if this is the first one, but it's the first I could find. 1966. So it's quite old. It was Toei Animation who were behind it. It came from a manga and had 109 episodes. It's called Sally the Witch. I'd never heard of this before until I started researching for this episode.
Play a clip.
No, I can't even find it. It's not hosted by anyone. So I think it might be like VHSs or DVD rips. It has had sequels, like redos of the story, if you will.
Okay.
It actually continued the story on like a long time ago, and they were looking like, I think it was 2010 to reboot it, and then the author died. And that was Yokoyama Mitsuteru, who created Tetsujin 28 and Giant Robo and Sangokushi, which were really popular mangas and have had, just like Sally the Witch, a lot of his manga caused other genres to be done. Sally the Witch is the first TV anime series to target the shoujo demographic, and is kind of like the TV anime series that was the first to introduce a magical girl and start the trend towards that, along with actually having shoujo anime for female viewers. And considering this is the 60s, like, no one was thinking about female viewers. It was like, we should make stuff for the men. Yeah, they've been working hard and we'll go home and blah, 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 blah. And, there wasn't a lot of that stuff at the time.
Yeah.
So the first 17 episodes are in black and white. So that's tells you a lot about the time this was in. And then obviously 18th episode and onward were in color. So this is about a mischievous princess of the land of magic called Sally. She's developed an interest in the human world and wanting to experience it for herself. She runs away, meets two girls her age at a department store, becomes friends, and then literally conjures a mansion out of magic. Yeah, this is the origin of magical girls, people. This is literally... There were other sort of mangas around that time, but this is the one which is heralded as putting it in the mainstream, which is crazy. So, yeah, she decides to stay in the new world, taking up a surname of Yumeno and attending school with the two friends. And then after all that, in the final episode, Sally's grandma informs her she must return to the Magic Kingdom. So before that, she tries to tell her friends about her origins, and no one believes her, and they go, magic ain't real. So then her elementary school catches on fire, and she uses her magic to put it out. The power obviously exposes her, and Sally ascends, waving to her friends, returning to the magical kingdom.
Sally must return to her planet.
Yeah. So that's how the original series ends. And then they did like one in like 85, I think it was, where it's like 10 years later and she re-meets her friends in high school. And then like there's apparently an OVA series with a film after that where she actually ascends to the throne of the Witch Kingdom.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's really... You can hear elements of Sailor Moon in that, and this is probably what inspired part of that story.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So like that's where we're starting this sort of witchy journey. And there's a lot of witch anime.
There is a lot, surprising.
But we've got to put in a disclaimer right now that Strike Witches is not a witch anime.
And neither is Brave Witches.
Don't stop putting them on lists, people. They're not witch animes. I refuse. They're military sci-fi anime with girls not wearing pants. Like, stop it.
I don't know. That's pretty magical to me.
Oh no. So I want to start with one that you suggested, Kiralee, because this I had never heard of.
Which one?
Wizard Barristers.
Yeah, I love this one. Yeah.
What the heck? Witch lawyers?
Yeah, it's just witch lawyers, basically. And, it's just...
I'm just... What's...
It's like Ace Attorney, but witches.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's... I was trying to think of something in that vein. Okay.
With like the same sort of like undertones.
Like objection.
Not quite.
Okay, because Ace
close.
Attorney has very clear undertones.
Yeah, no.
Not safe for work undertones, or like, okay, cool, good to know. This was by Studio Arms in 2014. It's original. It's not based on a manga or a light novel or anything.
Yeah,
So
I love
someone
it.
sat
So
down
good.
and went, "What if witches had laws?"
What if superheroes had laws?
Oh, that'll just end up ruining a series, wouldn't it?
Because they live with humans, well, people who don't have powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, you follow a witch who gets to
Which one?
Which one? Which one is which?
Stop it, Aaron! You've overused the joke. It's killing us.
No more.
She becomes the first barrister, like the youngest barrister ever in history. And you just follow her, and they like kind of fight crime as well as like defending them in law.
In court.
Yeah.
Okay. So where the law can help them, they'll do it in court, but where the law can't help them, they'll help them outside of court.
Yeah, or like they kind of like stop the bad guys, and then they like, we're gonna take you to court now. No.
Imagine getting your ass beaten by a witch, and then she's like, "See you in court. Here's the papers." Poof.
You've been subpoenaed.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, it's like witches fighting witches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, is a lot of witchcraft sort of showcased?
Yeah.
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 How do
Yeah, a lot.
How do they do their magic?
They just go wapa.
I can get behind that. Wands and staffs and stuff.
No,
or-
just out of your hand.
Out of your hand.
Yeah.
Kung fu.
That's cool. I want to then jump over to something that I think deserves immediate yell out on this, and that is Little Witch Academia.
Ah, yes.
So I know a lot of us haven't watched enough of it. But Little Witch Academia was based on a manga. It's by Trigger. There was a film in 2015 and then a series in 2017.
Did you know there was a game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a game as well.
I did see.
And it's been frequently described as Hogwarts for girls, but I'd rather put it as Hogwarts for Gurren Lagann.
Hogwarts for weebs.
Hogwarts for weebs, if that's how we're going to do it, yeah. And it's adorable. And it is funny and clumsy and just very wholesome.
The friendship the three of them have, it's the three of them, right?
Yeah.
And then there's that one really rich, annoying girl.
They start expanding the friendship group throughout the seasons, but
She'd be the Draco, wouldn't she?
yeah.
Yeah. It's all clicking into place.
It's a very, very parable story. Like it's parallel story. Like there's a lot of similarities you can pick up.
Yeah, but when you're sort of running similar tropes, it's easy to sort of just
And I mean, a trio in anime is standard fare, isn't it? So yeah.
Team 7.
Yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen, like even Chainsaw Man's got a team of 3. Like it's just the way you do.
3 is just so well balanced because then it's not like you have to learn a lot of characters like My Hero Academia.
Just like this podcast, there's only 3 of us on it right now. You don't have to learn a lot of characters at all. There's Aaron, there's Kyle, and there's Kiralee.
There's bad jokes, and there's amazing soul.
No. There's dad jokes, bad jokes, and mum jokes.
Oh. It's like the Infinity Stones, but we only need 3.
Yeah, to make everyone cringe. But beautiful soul. Little Witch Academia is definitely worth checking out, especially because if you enjoyed Harry Potter and anything Trigger's done, like it's very slice of life and relaxed and
Anything
fun.
Trigger's done? You mean like Cyberpunk?
If you enjoyed Cyberpunk, you'd still like this. It's the same sort of art style and wackiness, just less mature. So
Let's get Rebecca with a wand.
look, Yes. I'll ask her when I interview her on Wednesday.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, we've got an interview lined up with Alex, who voices Rebecca in English. So the videos are coming back now that we've had time to get settled in the new studio and house and all that. Now, let us talk about something that's a little bit older. And it's by Studio Clamp. And this is XXXHolic.
My favorite.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave it to you two to talk on this because I've not seen it.
I done cosplay.
I haven't seen it, but I was flicking through a list of which anime and I saw it. I was just bouncing ideas off of Nat. And Nat was like, no, you have to talk about XXXHolic. We have to go home. We have to watch it. You can't talk which anime and not talk about this one.
Yeah. Because when we were talking in the chat and like, oh, send me through the thing, and then you like picked XXXHolic, and I was like, damn it, I wanted to pick that one. Damn.
I remember everyone in the chat was basically like, this one's mine. I'm like, guys, that's not how this episode works. we're gonna just basically throw them all out there and talk about everything, it's good.
Yeah.
I like this. I like these episodes.
It's a Halloween hot pot.
Well, yeah, Halloween hot pot basically each year. And also February Valentine's Day episode is also a hot
How
pot
could
episode.
you forget Valentine's?
Because I do things all year round. I'm that romantic.
Oh, okay. I'm showing the rest of us. I guess I gotta step up my game now.
Yeah, evidently. Like, just get up there. No, so it's is it XXXHolic?
XXXHolic.
XXXHolic?
XXXHolic is how I
It's
say
not. It's not
So-
adult for starters.
No.
No.
And it's got nothing to do with Vin Diesel.
No.
And it's like there's like plots that like cross over and stuff as well into Tsubasa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this being Clamp, it's got elements that connect to other series. Like
Yes.
everything Clamp does.
And I
has
think it
things.
also crosses over to another anime, but I'm not sure what that anime is, but I'm pretty sure it does. Because I've heard like people talking about it, but I can't remember.
Well,
But yeah.
this one was done in 2006 and at Production IG, and they always do good stuff. So
It's super spooky too.
Yeah?
With like episodes and stuff. So the
So
main
excited.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
excited.
yeah.
So
Please
the
enlighten
main
us.
the main character, I forget his name. But God, is he
He's
annoying?
the Lee parallel.
Huh?
Lee Shaoran.
Um.
Do they have the parallels with the other series?
No.
Because I know
It's just
Tsubasa
the
like
witch.
runs that.
Yeah, no. So with the crossover Tsubasa, it's just the actual witch who is the witch in Tsubasa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it Shizuka Domeki? Or there's Kimihiro Watanuki.
Watanuki.
Okay.
My God, he annoys the out of me. Yeah, and yeah, my gosh, he's just like this wimpy guy who just.
Hey, what's wrong with wimpy guys?
Well, yeah, but it's like an annoying wimpy with like, no, I don't want to go in there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of
The guy that
thing.
holds back the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so basically he has to, I think it was that he had to pay off a debt to the witch, and so he has to do all of the witch's errands. And so he has to do all this like weird stuff, like helping people with like ghostly problems or luck problems.
I have
or
seen this
things
before.
like that.
I've
Yeah.
just had the synopsis put up.
It's
so.
got a really unique art style. So if you
Yeah.
see the art style,
love
you'll
it.
recognize it.
Yeah,
It's
so
really good.
Kimihiro can see spirits and other assorted supernatural creatures, which is quite a bothersome ability he strongly dislikes. On the way home one day, while plagued by some spirits, he's inexplicably compelled to enter a strange house. There he encounters Yuko, a mysterious woman who claims to be able to rid him of the ability to see and attract the troublesome creatures for a price. She demands that he work at her store that grants the wishes to people, and thus begins his adventure through weird and wonderful events.
I think it's either an episode or it might have been the movie
Mm-hmm.
that I absolutely loved, where they went into the house where people will like disappear in the house, and then it ended up being like they were like taking their energy or something like that to like make them younger and like still
man, that's
live
real.
and stuff. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I believe Funimation did have rights for this, so if it's not on there, it'll probably be on Crunchyroll now, I'm guessing.
I can't find it there.
No. It might be also like one just in a certain area, but XXXHolic is definitely something you want to check out.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
Like, we do obviously talk about Clamp a lot whenever we get the opportunity, because as a production group, they make fantastic stuff. But it's also like it is from a very specific time and age, so it won't necessarily be for everyone. Okay, so it looks like it's still listed on Funimation.
It's still on. It's on Crunchyroll.
Oh, it is on Crunchyroll now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Crunchyroll Australia has it. Funimation potentially in US or some of the areas where they haven't finished the transition. It might be over there too. Now, let's talk Thriller Bark, because we've kind of went around a little bit, and this is not so much witch, but it is spoopy.
It's so spoopy.
So
It's like a Halloween theme park.
Yeah, so One Piece has lots of different arcs, as you can imagine. And I'm not going to suggest necessarily to go and watch them, but if you read it, it's good. I found, honestly, reading One Piece has been so much better than watching it.
I feel like
Perona.
I feel like watching Thriller Bark is better.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's the iconic scene where the zombie comes out of the ground and Luffy just
pushes him back in. So Thriller Bark is, I think, like the 5th major arc or 6th major
something
arc
like that
of One Piece, and it's basically an island, because the way One Piece works, they go down the Grand Line, which is like a narrow stretch of sea which has no wind areas on either side. You can only get into it one way, you can't just sail into it. And then you go from island to island. You island hop your way up the chain.
And you've got to have a very specific compass to guide you.
Yeah, and this compass leads them... Oh, actually, it didn't lead them there. They ended up there by accident because of mist and fog. And Thriller Bark is like an island full of undead, people having their souls stolen and put into other creatures.
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
It's not anything else.
No, not at all.
It's definitely that.
Definitely that. Look, I don't want to ruin it. It's so good.
No.
But
I mean, it's been out for so long.
Yeah, but it's still
so like
good.
If you know what we're talking about,
you know what we're talking about. But look, it doesn't necessarily play so much with witchcraft, but it does play a lot with spookiness, like with ghosts, with the idea of the occult, with the idea of zombies, undead skeletons, reincarnation, and you know. It's One Piece. Everyone's ability, like the Gomu Gomu tree, not the Gomu tree. Look, the Devil Fruit tree is a very unusual tree. In my opinion, I still haven't got to the end yet, but my opinion is the One Piece is actually the grove where all the devil fruits are being grown.
Maybe.
But because every time it's like, this man is this is the gun fruit. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And we fed it to the dog. Okay, no, that's weird. No,
Have you seen this part where they feed fruits to like swords and stuff and like inanimate objects?
Yep. And then it's like, we fed the dog fruit to the
gun.
The gun is like,
so there's a gun dog and there's a dog gun.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they look the same. And then you've got like, what was the other one that was really weird? Yeah, the Chopper has the human fruit.
Yep.
And it's just like, what happens if a human eats it? Like,
well, I think the human would be able to switch between types of human, like Chopper can, like how he's like got the like more defensive style, or like the karate style, or the big
speed
style,
or shrink, brain mode, and so forth.
Yeah, so like maybe it could focus on different attributes of humans.
This is a One Piece podcast now. Sorry. But look, if you're interested in
spoopy.
In spooky One Piece, and you just want to get on board with it, Thriller Bark is a great story to watch.
Because you don't really need backstory for it, because each of the One Piece arcs, like, you can just jump in anywhere. I wouldn't recommend doing it.
No.
But you can just jump in, watch an arc, and be like, cool.
I mean, that's what I do,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Oh, I mean, there's also a film which covers basically like the first 4 major arcs of all the character introductions.
Have I sent you, is it Django's Dance Festival?
Yes.
It's so good. Like, peak One Piece right there. You don't need to watch anything else One Piece. You just need Django's Dance Festival.
So I think for context, the way the manga works is the front page for each chapter has one panel of a miniature story that's spread out over multiple chapters, and these end up becoming all the random little specials that have happened, and they're also canon because that's how they introduced where everyone disappeared after the fight before the Red Line.
And it's also like, have you seen the buggy ones? Yeah. Like,
Captain Buggy ones are so good.
Yeah, it's his story as he goes off and does his own thing, and it's so funny watching him, like, because like all tied up without the full length of his limbs. He's just like hands, head, and feet.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But look, it's if you want some Halloween One Piece, Thriller Bark's your boy.
Thriller Bark is amazing. I used to watch it on loop when my son was like a wee lad, and we had fun watching it.
That's good.
And then he'd watch Coraline afterwards, and I'd be like, "That's where I peace out."
That's
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
Peace out?
I
Really?
like Coraline, but I understand that is also.
Oh yeah, it's not for.
I
wouldn't
don't
show it
like
to Lily.
uncanny, like spoopy. Like spoopy isn't for Aaron.
No, you're a soft boy.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, everyone's got the things they like. Now, on the note of Bleach, Burn the Witch.
Burn the Witch. So good. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay. So, Kyle, you've seen it, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on the watch list.
So,
Very long watch
it's
list.
done by the same guy who does Bleach.
Right.
And so, you know how in Bleach they've got like the whole Soul Society and they're all Shinigami and they're all Japanese. So, England has its own Soul Society and they're all witches. And there's like a reverse London, which is underneath London, which is filled with all the magical people and magical creatures and all of that. And
Diagonally.
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
You're meant to
Blue
say
powder.
diagonally, and it's like, diagonally? No.
Whoops.
Slides out of the turret sideways and hits a tree. Yeah. Sorry.
You're all good, man. We need more caffeine.
We need more coffee.
So basically, it's about these witches, and instead of like ghosts and stuff being a big issue, it's dragons. There's all these dragons, and like there's this witch council, and like there's this one really cool dude who reminds me of Grimjaw Juggajuk from Bleach, who I love saying his name, Grimjaw Juggajuk.
I mean, if it's fun to say, it's fun.
Exactly. And all
Actually,
the different witches.
say his name one more time.
Grimjaw Juggajuk. I stumbled over that one. God damn.
Well, he did all right.
So, like, they've all got different types of magic, and there's different levels of witches, and it follows these two main witches, and they get given a quest to find this dragon that's ended up in the witch world that they're afraid of it'll get into the real world. And so, obviously, you know, they've got to try and stop all the dragons, and yeah, it's a good story. It's Tite Kubo, so all the art's really nice for it. The only thing that's unfortunate about it is he wrote it as a one-shot, and his editor wrote to be continued at the end of it. And he's like, what do you mean to be continued? This was a one-shot. And the editor's like, yeah, but it's so good. And he's like, I'm not doing more. He's like, yeah, but you will.
Oh, no.
So
That's so... And I remember hearing that controversy when it came out. Everyone was like, to be continued? And he's like... he had an interview lined up after the premiere, and he's like, it's not going to be continued. Like, they didn't get my approval for that. And everyone was like, oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, it's really... Like, if you just want, like, a quick... Like... If you want to see what Bleach is sort of like, except not really at all. Actually, yeah, if you want to see what Bleach is like, don't watch Burn the Witch.
Okay.
Because it's the Western Soul Society. Like, you start the movie and they've got this, like, cracked arch, and it says Western Soul Society on it. And so that's the link to Bleach. But by the end of the movie, they've fixed it and they've got it, like, proper. But yes, no, it's really good. And if you just want a nice movie to just sit down, watch, lots of action, good fun, like, 100% recommend Burn the Witch.
It's Studio Colorido, who so far have just been fantastic with everything they've touched. So I'm generally pretty happy to say, yeah, go watch them. Now, we've got one from Kenny, which is Hat Atelier, which we briefly touched on earlier. and he sent me some notes on it because I asked him to. He says he's a failure as a writer and should give up, and we all disagree on him on that because he's actually quite good at writing.
Who, Kenny or the writer for
No,
Witch Hat
Kenny.
Atelier?
Kenny said that as himself, not of Witch Hat Atelier. He's like, Kenny loves
This
Witch Hat
story's
Atelier.
terrible. The writer should be fired. I'll take over.
No, he was going, I don't think I've said enough. And I'm like, no, you've said perfectly. So Witch Hat Atelier, I'll actually bring up the entry for it. But this is one of our Patreons, Majokko, is a massive fan of as well. And I think it's very exciting because it's going to get an anime next year, and it's really good and really the art's beautiful. I started reading it last night, and I was really impressed by the quality of the art. So the story focuses on Coco. She's a humble dressmaker's daughter and has been fascinated by magic her whole life and the witches who cast it. Obviously, no one knows how witches do what they do. So Coco takes advantage of a golden chance to spy on a skilled witch wizard, and she realizes that her favorite picture book was a disguised magic book all along, and in her excitement, she immediately starts testing out the various spells, one causing a major disaster in her home.
That's not how I remember it.
Mm-hmm. I literally read the first chapter last night, so that's...
I thought she went to the markets and she got given a book by a random person, and then she opened that up later and it turned out to be a spell book, and then she copied that.
Yeah, well, that's sort of it. So she was given the book as a picture book.
Wasn't that the same day that she saw the witch wizard?
No, it was a flashback.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the spell causes disaster, and Quifrey, who was the visiting wizard who she copied, rescues her just in time and decides to train her, realizing that she's the first lead he has found that could help him track down the Brimmed Caps, a dangerous group of heretics who experiment with forbidden, body-altering magic and spread magical artifacts among the commoners, such as her book. So before Coco and Quifrey can confront the Brimmed Caps, she's going to have to improve her magic skills and learn to get along with Quifrey's other apprentices. It's really cute. And then also really horrific. Yeah. It's great.
They immediately throw her into the fire. They're like, yeah, you got to go do trials now. You've only been a witcher for a day? Go.
Good luck. So Kenny sent through that I'm a sucker for the European swords and sorcery fantasy genre, and stuff involving witches and wizards and magic are like catnip to him. They give you an idea of what completely original rules the author's world plays by, which just invites the reader to imagine how they'd use them to put themselves in the story. So Witch Hat Atelier offers these ideas in spades, and it offers a world that feels full and alive, that plays by comprehensive rules, not unlike Fullmetal Alchemist, and then it is populated by great characters, magical locations, and inky black horrors slinking in the shadows. Something about its art style is singular. It really grabs your attention and sets it apart from others in the genre, and it's like looking at a manga plucked from a bookshelf in turn-of-the-century England. From the very classical and hatching-shaped artwork to the late medieval castle settings, he's genuinely intrigued to know how this will be turned into an anime, and he doesn't doubt that it'll be fantastic. He just struggles to imagine how this almost woodcut art could look in full colour and motion. So he's really glad it caught his eye at Shumi. And he does say, without spoilers, its magic is done not dissimilar to Fullmetal Alchemist with the drawn art style. It presents a single method for how it's done. The shapes drawn in a circle determine an effect and how it will play out. How accurately it's done will determine how accurate the spell is and the power for it. And the ink used or the way those shapes are changed alters the spell implicitly, and it gives simple instructions with unlimited variations, which is not something it's not to say other animes haven't done this, but this is something that I think we've only really seen in Fullmetal Alchemist, which is awesome. So, yeah, this one we're very excited for. The whole team's excited for. The whole Patreon chat's excited for when it gets an anime. And the manga's fantastic, and you should check it out. The manga's on an 8.5 on my anime list with 13,000 users. Obviously, mangas have less votes than thingies, but it's good. And
it's still a high rating.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you don't see many negative reviews on this. They're mostly all positive, saying, look, this is great. There are some areas they could improve or whatever, but it's good. So look, that's worth reading. Find it at your local book supplier who provides you stuff.
If you're a nerd.
Now we've got plenty of other witch anime we could talk about.
Like which one?
Madoka Magica.
Pass.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now this was Emma's
Justice for Mammy.
pick. Justice for Mammy. So Madoka Magica, 2011, Studio Shaft, original series, magical girl, magic being the key word in there. Not necessarily. It's like it's dark.
Nom 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 nom
Nom nom nom nom nom. It is dark.
You want to form a contract?
No.
You want to form a contract?
No.
You want to form a contract?
Oh, okay then.
Yes.
So, Puella Magi Madoka Magica, or Maho Shoujo Madoka Magica, depending on if you got the English one. This story follows a group of middle school girls led by the protagonist Madoka Kaname, who make supernatural contracts to become magical girls. In battling surreal enemies known as witches, they learn of the anguish and peril associated with their new roles. As you might have guessed, this is not like Sailor Moon-esque or Precure-esque. This is...
Don't watch this if you're under 15.
Yeah. This
There
is
was that new one that came out.
the
Was that one
side
any-
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
any good?
Oh, isn't that
It's-
for Homura?
Yeah, it's technically not. The girl looks like them. They're new characters, but they're set in the same world, and I can't remember what it's called. But spin-off, Magia Record was the spin-off series. So that had, 3 seasons, but the third and final season was kind of a bit weird. I think it had like 5 or 6 episodes, and we got that just after the pandemic, 4 episodes. Dawn of the Shallow Dream came out April this year. So season 2 only had 8 episodes, and season 3 only had 4. So it's really only 2 seasons. But this is set based on originally a mobile game for Madoka Magica. So it was originally a Japanese role-playing video game released for Android and iOS by Aniplex in 2017, and it's a spin-off about the series and features a new protagonist named Iroha Tamaki, who arrives in Kamihama City to search for her missing sister. It's very different, but still within the same world.
Okay.
It's good. Like it's as brutal as you'd expect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that they named the city after Goku.
How dare you, Kamihama? There it is. So yeah, the little white cubey creature is again granting girls any single wish. In exchange for that wish, however, they must become magical girls and fight against creatures known as witches. A rumor soon begins to spread among magical girls that they can be saved from their duty by going to Kamihama City. And Iroha, a girl who had originally forgotten the wish she made to become a magical girl, encounters a smaller Kyuubi one day and remembers that she made a wish to cure her younger sister of illness, and realizing that all evidence of Yui's existence has disappeared, she travels to Kamihama City in order to find answers. And that's where we start off.
Wow.
I would like a Kyuubi stress ball, because just seeing that thing's face stresses me out.
Yeah.
Just like...
So that you can see the eyes pop into form.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like the full rundown on Wikipedia if you just want to know the background of it for the arcs, but that's the major plot point that you'd want to know about, and obviously there's 2 parallel stories running in synchronicity in that first part of it, and
Let's do the time warp again.
so there's also there's the main story and the another story, which is a side story of the unfolding events in Kamihama City from the perspective of the main character of the original anime. So they kind of see what's going on as well at the same time as part of the story. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's worth watching and checking out. So look, witches, spookiness, Madoka Magica is definitely a good Halloween view, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, like, everyone goes, it's completely revolutionized the world of magical girls. Look, it's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it.
I wouldn't say it revolutionized
No.
it. The hype train behind it was big enough.
Yeah,
But
it's a different sort of magical girl.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it's not... You know what they always say? Don't believe the hype. Watch it yourself and form your own opinion for it. But there's a reason why Madoka Magica does keep getting brought up, even a decade later now. It's a very unique series that has a lot of interesting aspects to it that are worth checking out.
Okay, so I know this is a witch episode, but since we're talking about Madoka Magica, can I just mention Magical Girl Ore? Because That is a beautiful magical girl series.
Magical Girl Ore?
Or as in masculine for... Yeah.
Oh.
You know the one?
I do.
Back me up on this. That's
Yeah.
a great magical girl series.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Is she a muscly magic? Oh my god. Yes. Yes. Watch this. I'm putting this in the notes. Is this the one where it's the guys who transform into magical girls?
No. It's girls who transform into buff magical men.
It's fantastic.
That's amazing. I'm putting that in the notes,
And they
everyone.
also want to be idols.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's
That's straight up. That's on my watch list now. That
Yeah.
was 2018.
so like I know it's supposed to be about witches, but that is like when you say magical girls, that's my go-to.
Fair enough. Oh, excuse me. Now, there are others which we'll quickly run through, but actually, I'll run through them now. So there's Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elena, which was 2020. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, didn't they get real dark real fast?
Oh, yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, well,
Not really.
Kira Lee's like, not for me.
Okay, but your version of dark and my version of dark are very different. I
Yeah.
think milk is dark.
Witchcraft Works, which was JC stuff. This was another one you were keen on.
It's
Kira Lee.
funny.
Yeah. There's Familiar of Zero. There is The Flying Witch, which is Slice of Life. There's Witch Hunter Robin by...
Oh, that's a classic.
that's Sunrise 2002. That occasionally dips into the world of horror as part of it.
I remember that from high school.
Yeah. Rental Magica by Zexus. I'm not sure on that. I believe it's a comedy. And Izetta the Last Witch as well, which also looks quite dark. But we... Oh, and also you can't not mention Soul Eater and Black Clover.
I was about to say my favorite witch is in Soul Eater.
Yeah. But there's Ghibli. Ghibli loves witches.
Yes.
So, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
We can't talk about witches and not talk Kikis.
I mean, no, you can't.
It's like the iconic anime witch.
It is, and it's literally about a young witch going out and setting herself up and all that, which we have actually a series this season in a similar vein, but it's just alchemy. Yeah. So there's a Slice of Life series this season which mirrors a lot of the ideas from Kiki's Delivery Service about, you've completed your witchcraft or your witchery degree, if you will, and you now must go set up your shop and become useful for the community. And there's a series called I think it's like Uplifting of Alchemist or something, and it's exactly the same story. It's a girl, she's finished her alchemy degree, she's gone out to a country town, she's been given a really rundown old shack, and she's going to set it up and turn it into an alchemy store that's successful. So she has to gather her own ingredients and stuff like that, which is all things we saw in Kiki's Delivery Service. She goes out and finds odd jobs, makes herself useful to the community. It's a very positive story.
Which is similar to the Atelier games.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Going full circle there.
We're going full
Pulling
circle.
back a fair bit though.
Now, when I was going through this list, we then had Howl's Moving Castle. I'm like,
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the evil.
Oh, no, I know. I'm saying in Howl's Moving Castle, technically a witch is the one who is cursed.
He's also a wizard.
And he was a wizard too, yeah.
A wizard.
My brain's completely died on a name. That's so bad. Sophie. There you go. Her name's also Sophie Hatter, just a little bit like...
Because she likes hats.
So, jealous of Sophie's closeness to Howl, the Witch of Waste transforms her into an old lady. She must find a way to break the spell with the help of Howl's friends, Calcifer and Markle. Marky. I don't know why I said Markle. It's the
Meghan
Chancellor
Markle.
of Germany. Yeah. or is that the princess?
Yeah, it's Prince something's wife.
Yeah, okay, cool. We don't know about that anyway. That's not our thing.
We're anime, we're not English politics.
No. We've talked about Howl's Moving Castle a lot in the past, so we'll leave it there. If you do want to hear more on Howl's Moving Castle, we have a dedicated episode from about 2 years back where one of our previous presenters, Dee, talked about it because it's her favourite film
Dee has
of all
ink
time.
from it as well.
Yeah, she's got a tat with it on it too. So
And then there's Yubaba from
Yubaba.
Spirited Away.
yes, there is.
I love her.
Yes, there's
Sassy Big Witch.
there's Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Yep.
I
have.
actually,
It is
you've
good.
seen it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, and now that I've actually read the synopsis, I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Because basically, Mary goes out into the woods and finds a broomstick and a flower for a witch, and basically goes to Hogwarts. It's really good.
It's
she's not a witch, but then she does something that puts the entire witching world at risk and has to solve it herself. Very Ghibli, you know.
Yeah.
There's Earwig and the Witch, which, you know, it is a Ghibli film. We haven't watched it yet. It's CG. It's, again, like, it's one of those odd ones where it's not Hayao Miyazaki, it's his son. Go.
Wake me up before you go.
But, again, it's to do with a young girl coming in contact with witches. And this is, like, become a very common theme. And if you have a look at a lot of these Ghibli films, a lot of the ones which feature witches are based on Western novels. So Howl's Moving Castle, Mary and the Witch's Flower, Earwig and the Witch, all are English novels originally that they've had their idea taken from, obviously with permission. But I found an interesting one, a very interesting one, that we definitely haven't seen unless we've been to the Ghibli Museum. So Studio Ghibli has 12 short films that are screened exclusively at the Saturn Theatre at the Ghibli Museum. And it's Pandane to Tamago Hime, Mr. Doe, and the Egg Princess.
Oh.
This is adorable. It is a 12-minute animated film written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. And as you'd expect, it's got all of the crew on board. So you've got Suzuki Toshio doing the production. You've got the music being done by Joe Hisashi. You've got, you know, Toho doing distribution for it. This is it was Miyazaki's latest project following the release of Ponyo and his next short film after Water Spider Mon Mon. And according to the animation director of this short, this work was meant to return to the origin of animation. That meant that the number of drawings rose to an average of 190 per animated cut, which was the highest number of any Ghibli works at the time. So they put a lot of effort into this. Miyazaki conceived the idea for the film from the painting The Harvesters by Pieter Bruegel the Elder, music composed by Joe Hisashi, and consists of a set of Baroque variations of the Folia theme by Antonio Vivaldi. So they've used classical stuff and reworked it. So once upon a time, a witch named Baba Yaga lived a life isolated in a watermill at the back of a thorny forest. She returns home having collected a basket full of eggs, then cooks them in a massive pan. Try as she might, one egg could not be cracked, so she takes one of her ribbons and grants life to the unbroken egg, calling it the Egg Princess. Time passes and the young egg princess is forced into indentured servitude working in the witch's mill and kitchen. She's kept under the watchful eye of the witch, whose grotesque appetite fuels her obsession with creating bone meal. She even taunts the young Tamago with an apple with a worm in it. One night, the leaven that was needed by the captive egg suddenly comes to life thanks to the mysterious blank and begins to move. She grants Mr. Doe sight by offering a few berries as eyes and helps it escape the watermill. Baba Yaga awakens and senses something is amiss. So there's the cover, Mr. Doe and Princess Egg. Yep. Very unusual art style.
That's a dough man. It's the Pillsbury Doughboy.
However, this is the art style of the animation. And it's full classic Ghibli art style.
Yeah.
Like Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Like big on the food, big on the shine.
Big on the schnoz.
It does look like a Baba Yaga.
It does look like a Baba Yaga. She even has her tiny little pot that she flies around in as well, which is like, it's great. Oh, there we go. That's what they actually look like in the anime.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
Yeah. So it's very beautifully animated. It's actually got a figurine at the Ghibli Museum
Oh, that's
as well. So it's very, very different from what you'd be expecting. Wow, you can actually get... Man, there is merch at the Ghibli store for it, including a carton of egg people.
That's adorable.
Yeah. So look, this is unfortunately one of the ones you can only see if you go to Studio Ghibli's museum in Japan. So keep that in mind. You're not going to find this online, unfortunately. And that is one of those draw cards for the museum. So, but Ghibli, just as a rule, does generally a wonderful job of looking after witches, like the way they show them and, you know, characterize them in their series, whether that's as good people or bad people. I mean, there isn't really any distinctively bad people in a Ghibli film. They all have a purpose and a role, and there's a reason why they're doing what they're doing, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's not I'm evil because I'm evil, which we see a lot. But yeah, that's... I'm wondering, anything else we'd like to mention on the witches front? Because we're...
The Witcher, Geralt of Rivia.
Oh, yeah. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Great dude.
I have to say, there's not many like witches who are bad for just bad.
Yeah.
No.
in anime, which I
because-
find odd.
Yeah, well, they sort of take the basis of it's a magical typically female person who rides around on a broom and has a wand. That's the basis that they take from it.
Yeah, but a lot of like Western, like movies and that, it's
There's
like
the
a
negative
witch because I'm like,
connotation.
ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's because of obviously like the Salem witch trials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we were playing a game yesterday at a friend's place, which is literally the Salem witch trials, and it's called it's just called Salem 1629 or whatever year it was. And basically everyone is given a card based on one of the people from the witch trials. Like, they're actual real people. And you're given 3 cards in front of you, and they'll either say not a witch, or the constable. So i.e. like the police officer. There's only like 2 witches for what we were playing. And when the witch cards moves to another person, because whenever night happens, everyone moves a card after a thing. The witches can expand. And the aim of those who are not witches is to find the witch card, not necessarily the witches. So if you remove the witch cards, the villagers win. If the witches wipe out, because every night they kill someone, if the witches wipe out all the villagers or convert everyone to witches, they win. And it's so much fun. So it was really funny as well, because like one of the characters is a young girl who was the one who was the start of the witch trials. Basically, what it comes down to is she didn't want to go to school, so she claimed she was sick and had been cursed by a witch.
Yeah.
And she started accusing people to be witches. And when we started playing, our friend Simon, who had that character, was the witch. And we're just like, kill the child. It's for the witch's reasoning. Yes.
Can I get that as an audio clip?
No.
And then just put it over Star Wars?
The younglings.
Hocus Pocus 2 came out.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed that more
I
than the
enjoyed
first
that
one.
as well, yeah.
More than the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because that's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Because when you were saying Salem witch trials, that's actually a part of the beginning. That's how they establish it all.
So they actually have expanded the meta of the story.
Yes.
That's good. They look, it needed it. It's a classic film, so
Yeah. Well, they sort of play all sides in it, which was weird to see.
I liked it.
No, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it
This is
as
like
well.
the stare
But
down.
like that one character who was trying to help them.
Yeah. What's wrong with him?
Well, like
He was like, oh, you were wronged. I'm gonna help you. Oh, wait.
yeah, exactly.
But then,
Like, how could you ever think they were in the right though?
Because he thought that it was just all a lie.
So he thought witches weren't real.
No, he
No.
saw them when he was a child.
Oh, okay.
It ties back to the original movie because he saw them that Halloween night. He was one of the kids there. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
It's
cool
all
way to bring it
right,
forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, the entire list of the Witch series that we've talked about, including just the mentions, is going to be in the episode description. So if there is anything you're interested in checking out, have a look down below. Obviously, this is not a exhaustive list. We didn't even mention the 1974 Little Meg the Witch Girl Magical Girl series as well.
You just did, which means you have to put it down in the notes now.
No, it's going to go down there. Basically, same sort of thing.
We
as
didn't
the
even
60s
mention
one.
this as well, or that,
Well,
or this.
I've got
or
like
that.
loads of notes on there. It's basically Monster of the Week sort of thing. But her true enemy is the darker side of human nature.
Wasn't
Deep.
Queen Beryl a witch
Queen Beryl.
from Sailor Moon?
Yeah.
Go watch Sailor Moon
Go
for
watch
Halloween.
Sailor Moon for Halloween. Yeah. Actually, no, go read Sailor Moon because the manga is a lot more mature and
I
violent.
was going to say
and-
Crystal. Not
Oh,
the classic.
Crystal's.
Yeah.
I mean, Crystal's pretty. What do you call it? Polarizing on opinions, isn't it? But if you want to see like the original story, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Cool. This stuff's going to be in the notes. It's time to talk controversy.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
Well, there's not been a massive amount of anime news, but there have been not great things. Crunchyroll has hiked their prices.
Great job, guys.
Yeah, why? Like, is this because you have messed up with like the integration of Funimation and realize you're not getting enough money now?
Or because you messed up Crunchyroll Expo?
Or messed up the streaming announcements for this season and no one's signed up? Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few things going on, and like
You guys messed up and now we're paying for it.
yeah, like no offense to our friends who are working for Crunchyroll, but come on, guys. Like, this is obviously a plan from a decision that's been made in the US, and it's definitely something that Sony's obviously been involved in the decision-making process of. But it's revealed it will increase its monthly subscription price on October 31st in several territories for Chile, Canada, Austria, Finland, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, Netherlands, Faroe Islands, and Greenland. Some Funimation prices will also change across a mix of web and mobile in the same countries, and Funimation prices will decrease in Brazil, Peru, and Colombia for some reason. Now, only a few months ago, they decreased a load of prices as well in almost 100 countries and territories. So what's going on? Because this is inconsistent everywhere now.
Yeah.
You can't, set a price. You can't change it every time the exchange rate changes. It's just
Watch
not it's just not going to work. People are not happy with it. So they're apparently adjusting prices in a selection of international markets for some premium plans as part of creating a unified subscription service. You're not. You're making it a mess because nothing's consistent. So, yeah, apparently... Yeah, so Funimation increased prices on August 31st because it is transitioning to a unified subscription service with Crunchyroll. So the prices increased from $5.99 US to $7.99 for premium plan and $7.99 to $9.99 a month for the premium plus plan. That's for the US. Crunchyroll lowered its monthly subscription in almost 100 currency territories and is implementing its first major price increase in its history in the United States, Great Britain, Australia, and the Nordics in 2019. So this is 2 price rises in 3 years. Yeah, it's just a mess.
It's too much.
It is.
They're not offering anything more or better.
Well, it's also the communication's gotten worse.
Exactly.
We didn't know. There's some anime which have been airing in Japan for 3 weeks that Crunchyroll have only just announced that they're going to now actually be airing. It's you guys didn't even have your list of series this season that were going to come out before ahead of time.
Well, that's another thing. Crunchyroll's really dropping the ball on the dubs as well, because Chainsaw Man, episode 1 dub hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, it's end of this month, so it's another week and a half away.
Yeah, and they've already done 2 episodes subbed.
Yeah,
maybe even 3 by this stage.
Well, I think the dub situation is people pushing back after what happened with
Bayonetta.
No, Bayonetta's a mess as well, but Mob Psycho 100.
Okay.
Because they're oh, no, we're going to move all the dubs over to Texas now. It's we knew this was going to happen. You don't want to pay people at union rates. You do not want to pay voice actors a fair rate for the role they're doing. You want
to skimp them off so that you can take as much money home as you can.
Crunchyroll were one of the rare examples where even if the dub wasn't great, they still would get paid properly in LA. And the moment Sony took over, we said this on the episode and in the video when this happened, that the dubs are going to suffer. So it's really disappointing to see, but it's not unexpected. And Crunchyroll's a mess, especially their streaming, the actual platform they use. It's still a mess and broken. And you thought we're now 9 months that they've been in charge, and they had a perfect back end to use from Anime Lab that they got rid of and then said Funimation app would be updated. Funimation app hasn't been updated because of the takeover of Crunchyroll, and the Crunchyroll app has just been left to degrade over time. So it's really disappointing. I'm not happy. I don't think anyone's happy about this.
I don't think so.
Also on bad ideas, Netflix's new live-action Death Note series is in production. The Stranger Things Duffer Brothers are looking after this Death Note live-action series, and Miss Amity Writer is the executive producer.
Okay.
So, they have hired Halia Abdel-Meguid as the writer as well. So the Miss Amity Writer and the Devil in the White City writer. So along with the guys from he's apparently a long-time Death Note fan and a fluent Japanese speaker who lived in Tokyo before. So that's positive note, but stop trying to do Netflix Death Note. It's not a thing, guys.
You tried it once, it flopped, don't do it again.
Yeah.
I may have watched it 3 times, but that was not willingly.
It was not. We did an episode on it. It was horrifying.
Yes, because I remember I watched it on a flight, and then you said we were doing it, so I was like, oh, I guess I gotta watch it again. And then we watched it live.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought I'd explained it, but I didn't want to... I didn't think you'd willingly give yourself pain, but You did.
I did, but luckily because I watched it the night before, I had all of my jokes lined up for when we were watching it live.
Yeah, and you were funny as heck.
Yeah, I was bam, ready to go.
So the planned Death Note series will be a new take compared to Netflix's previous live-action Death Note film, i.e. it is a reboot. So there is no fan art, like official posters, artwork, or anything. The only details we've got is that it's in production and the live-action one is not canon for this.
Are we getting what's his face from High School Musical as Light finally?
No idea. No casting is official.
I hope so, because he wanted to do that. He looked good for the role, and it'd be good to see a screen-accurate Light.
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay. Well, I mean,
Did you not see that like 10 plus years ago?
Well, I saw 10 plus years ago him talking about being on Full Metal Panic because he's a massive fan of the manga. He's a massive anime head. So, yeah. No, he like grew up reading that manga at his local library. And
Hey, Zac Efron, you want to jump on the podcast? What's
Yeah,
up,
man.
bro?
I'm going to email him.
Do it.
He'll say no. but-
He'll say no. But like, you could just be like, oh yeah, I want to talk like Death Note and Full Metal Panic, and like, yeah, let me know some of your hot takes.
he won't say no. He just won't reply.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
But let's go on to something more positive. Because Laid Back Camp TV anime is getting a third season. This was announced last night. It was announced at a screening of the film with the cast actually there. The big question we have is the film is a time jump. They're all adults now. So is season 3 going to go back to when they're in school, or is this going to continue on the film? Because they literally build and own their own campgrounds in the film. That's the plot. They're all adults. They're all working, and they go, "We've had the opportunity to take over an old derelict campground. Let's rebuild it."
Surely it'll follow that.
It better. I want it to. Or
You've
at
got
least
a desperate look in your eyes right now.
Oh man, I'm so keen for this. Like that'd be great. Because like I want to see like the adventures that we've had so far have been limited by the fact that they have been underage and in school. So they're limited by how much you can, reasonably say they can do. I mean, it's a slow slice of life series. It's not meant to be like, hey, do our parents even know where we are?
Yeah, now they can just drive off.
Yeah, now they can go, I've took the week off work, we're going.
Not even taking the week off work, just, I don't need that job anymore.
Well, I mean, if they're running the campgrounds, like, I know our main girl ends up, like literally working at the camping store she was obsessed with as part of the actual series. So everyone's like, yeah, cool. Because this is all brand new. It's been done with complete permission and back and forth with Afro, the creator. That's his pen name. And it's, like he's like, I'm so excited to see this version of the characters that I haven't even reached in the manga yet, because I've provided them the explanation of how their lives will progress and what their personalities will be as adults. And it's apparently it's just done fantastic in Japan. So I'm very excited to watch the film when we do eventually get it. And then obviously season 3. So yeah, it's going to be good.
3 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. For something which is just about camping, like it's so good. And then you've got, the little pankuni goes, "Konnichiwa." And the last topic we do, second last topic, Makoto Shinkai's film Suzume's door locking is complete. So production has finished. Makoto Shinkai says a 12-minute preview is going to be released on October 28th. It's going to air on Japanese TV following a showing of Your Name. So I think there's definitely going to be some lovely connections there. That's going to open in November in Japan. I'm suspecting February international at this rate, just based on how long it takes Comics Wave Films to get their stuff dubbed and sorted. But the dub will be good. They have done a good job on that. Now, we do have to talk about something that is quite dear to one of our Patreons' hearts, and that is the Animator Dormitory. So Animator Dormitory is a company / charity in Japan, and they basically they help support new animators and creators. They basically live on about $250. Yeah, so 30,000 yen a fortnight or month.
Wow.
So that for the career 1 to 3rd year, that's kind of where they end up. So they have had their first animated work come out a couple of months ago, which was a music video, which was fully funded and supported, and everyone was paid at the rates that they believe animators should be paid at. And they've started a funding drive for their second project. So we'll have the link to that GoFundMe down in the page below, which will link to all their information. But the Animator Dormitory is a dormitory located in Tokyo for new animators, operated by the non-profit organization Animator Supporters. They founded the organization to tackle the low-wage problem that's prevalent in the anime industry. According to a 2015 survey conducted, the average monthly salary for an animator in their 20s is around $800. Many new animators even earn less than $270 a month.
Jeez.
Yeah, so like obviously very important role these guys play in getting these incredible animators into the industry and supporting them until they can get paid properly. So look, worth checking out. Their first one was fantastic, and the second one is going to be in association with a singer, I believe. It's like a music video as well. Raising wages in the anime industry, a collaboration with Aya Hirano. So that's the second phase in our plan, is to put more money in the hands of financially struggling Japanese animators, and it's now underway. They've got lots of short videos explaining the actual real situation in Japan for the animators. And that's it.
Sweet.
It's spoopy.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Well, that's where we're going to leave things for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Next time, we're finally doing it. We're really finally doing it.
Are you
Tiger
sure?
and Bunny. So next episode is all about Tiger and Bunny. Season 2, part 2 is out now, and it's great.
Oh my god, have you seen it?
I've seen a little bit.
Oh man, have you seen it?
No, I need to start.
Yeah.
But
You do.
I've seen the first, but yeah, I need to start.
Well, now you've got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
enough time.
Oh man, I finished it, and oh man.
Oh, you're already done.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Because, yeah, I know you said I've watched it, and I'm like, I really would love to talk about it, but let's do it on the actual episode.
Let's do it on the actual episode because, like,
It's
there-
good.
Yes.
Like, everything I've seen online has just went, this is exactly what the series needed. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, I can't say anything.
You got that, like, longing stare of horror, like, should I say, should I not?
I want to, but I can't. I'll save it for next episode.
We'll save it for next episode. There will be some mild spoilers because of it. So.
Heavy spoilers.
Yeah. Now, if you have enjoyed what you've heard, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Join us for future episodes, YouTube, like buttons, social medias.
Algorithms.
On the YouTube, I'm doing an interview with Alex, who is the voice of Rebecca from... my brain has just gone, no, you're not doing
Cyberpunk
it.
Edge Runners.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Now, look, Rebecca has basically become Trigger's new best girl as far as the internet is concerned.
Have
They
you
adore her.
seen Mightiest Warriors?
No.
Have you?
No.
Oh, okay. There's a character called Catbug, and he does his own little make-believe play. And he's got a potato named Rebecca and a stick named Sir Jeffers.
Okay.
And Sir Jeffers is trying to get Rebecca to marry him. And it's going back and forth with all this, like, television drama stuff. And at one stage, he just calls out, he's like, Rebecca!
All right, so it's Alex Cazares. We were going to have a chat with her earlier in the week. We just had a couple of things pop in the way and not really work for time, because it's 15 hours time difference between us and her.
Oof.
So obviously there's only a very small window where we can chat, and if something happens with whether that's internet connections or work or whatever, it makes it a bit difficult. So hopefully Wednesday morning our time, Tuesday night her time, we'll be chatting with her this week, and the video will hopefully be going up on the Monday following this podcast. So videos back in the works. I don't know if we'll be doing it every week like we were, but we'll definitely try and get at least one video out a month until we're into the proper final studio and things are good.
We should do like a Kawaii-Fi annual Q&A.
We should once we've got more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be good. We need to do we've got to get ready. We didn't do the live stream this season because literally the entire studio was in a box when the new season came out.
And we're all scattered to the wind.
Yeah. So I'm very glad that things are settling down. After next weekend, the rest of the year is looking smooth. So that's good. Now, if you would like to support the channel, there's a Patreon. Big thank you to our Patreon supporters as well. They're the ones who picked this episode's topic. We already have a list for them for next year, and we know exactly what they're going to pick. We didn't put it on the list this year because we knew it would get picked straight away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's lined up for next year. It's next year's Halloween episode is going to be a bit raunchy, I think.
It's gonna be definitely adults.
Yeah. Now if you do want more of what we're doing, you can head over to the Patreon. Even on our lowest tier, you get access to the pre-show, which is extra content such as episode outtakes, video extras, and the show updates, along with the pre-show for every episode, which is an extra half an hour of us talking uncensored about anything. It's good. It's good fun. And socials, all that good stuff, and that's kind of it. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
We love you.
We do. Give us your love as well, like thumbs and whatever the digital currency for love is.
Bitcoin.
No. No one wants Bitcoin. Mining is dead. GPU prices are falling. Today is a good day to be a gamer.
You can't say that as a dwarf.
I can.
You can't say mining is dead.
No. Crypto mining is dead. Metal mining is very much alive and well for me in WoW Classic. And with that, you've been listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time,
watch some anime!